All right, so let's work from a better position. And what I mean by that is I am a big fan of standing desks because we will notice we follow the rule of moving and changing our position every 2 minutes a bit better when we are standing. So instead of sitting in a broken position, when we stand, we notice that we move a lot more. We have better neuromuscular control of what we want to do, and we just feel better. However, you're going to notice with my position here that my computer is a little bit higher than my keyboard, and I'm actually using a keyboard because what I want to do here is the keyboard and mouse are going to allow me to stay more fluid and free. But the computer being higher is going to keep my head at a good level, a proper level, instead of cranking down and looking like this. But it's also going to help the performance of my computer because usually what happens is it's sitting against the table, it warms up, it heats up, the cooler turns on, and your performance with your computer slows down. So it's almost like a catch-22. Your computer slows down, so you slow down, so you end up sitting more. This is something that we don't want. Now, I also have blue blocking glasses on. My vision is fine. However, we know that computers and electronic devices emit a very high radiance of blue light. And this can cause eye strain, headaches, fatigue, and believe it or not, for me, it just causes anxiety. I actually have to limit the movies and the TV and the cinemas I go to because I just feel weird when I'm done. So for me, I have noticed a big difference, one, with the blue blocking glasses on, and two, I switched from that big mumbo jumbo screen back to a normal computer. Because if you think about it, when you got that big screen in front of you, it's like being first row at a movie theater. It's terrible. So for me, I prefer a smaller screen. Now, granted, I'm a physio, so I'm only really editing film. I'm not working like a graphic designer. Then maybe a bigger screen would be nicer. But for me, this was perfect. Now, there's also things you can look at like an anti-fatigue mat, so you can stand on something if your ground is hard. I like taking my shoes off or wearing something like a Vivo Barefoot that does not have that heel raise, does not have that toe spring technology, does not narrow my toes, basically allows me to stand natural and free. And for the table itself, I like keeping mine around 90 degrees of my elbow bend, because if we're too high, it gets a bit uncomfortable and we feel a bit of strain in our elbow and lack of oxygen in our fingers. But also if it gets too low, I notice that I start falling down. So I don't have an electronic one because I rarely change mine. I have one with a crank and it's saving about 500 euros on that one. You can check IKEA for that. But what we want to do is we want to get comfortable. Try to stand up. You don't have to do it all day. Just try to switch back and forth between sitting and standing. And one thing you will notice is when you think you're going to want to sit, you're going to stand longer. And when you do sit and you think you're going to sit for a longer time, you're going to stand quicker. So another way we can work from a better position is by using our phone. So what I always like to say is you should own your phone should not own you. And what I mean by that is we see a lot of people breaking down at the phone like this. So it's almost like the phone is making them bringing them in a poor posture, so the phone is owning them. But what we can do actually is, this is a bit dramatic, however it makes sense. We can use the phone, I teach moms to do this a lot with their kids actually, to create torque off that phone. See how I'm able to bring myself in a better position? And from here, I now own the position and I own my phone. So I'm gonna kind of turn in different angles here so you can see me. But right now, you can see the difference between me hunching forward, shoulders falling forward, and me pulling myself in this position. Now, I'm not cranking on my phone, but I'm just using it to realign my scapula and my spine and get me in a better position. Now, you're gonna notice that my head is still down. That's okay, because from here, what I can do is I can move at it from an entire unit, if you will. So see, I'm moving from my chest and my shoulders, bringing it to my face. Now, you don't always have to be here with your phone. Your shoulders are gonna get tired and it looks a bit funny. However, when you are owning your phone, you're able to really keep a good position and change where you want to look at it. So you can see I even begin to really just change the ratio of the movement of my chest and my arms. But from here, I'm in a very good position. My neck is neutral. My spine is straight. Sure, I'm bent down a little bit and sure, my head goes down, but I'm not falling at the neck. So through this, we can really start to play with different positions of our phone, and we're even able to do it with one, because as I'm in this position, you can see where my hand is, I'm able to really pull myself back and stare at my phone. So it's very similar, as I still have the computer set up here, is how we would work on the computer. We could also do the same with the phone. All right, so this is something else I love to do, and that is simply sit on the floor. Because you're gonna notice when you're on the floor, you move more. I think it's actually scientifically proven, which is weird. However, moving more is good because when we move, that's basically essentially saying we are changing our position. Now, if our body holds a position for more than 2 minutes, we begin to adapt to that position. So now you can imagine those people or yourself sitting in a chair where your hips are at 90 degrees, your knees are at 90 degrees, your feet are at 90 degrees, and your spine is just collapsing as if, I don't know, you just don't have one. This is terrible because our body adapts to that position, and that's what our nervous system begins to recognize as normal. So really, all you gotta do is get on the floor, and that is actually your call to action. So you notice I got my phone in my hand because often in the evenings, I'm replying to your comments, I'm commenting on things myself, I'm hashtagging things, I'm working a lot from my phone. Hence, that's why I actually have the 8 Plus, because it's easier from there, or fill in the blank, or fill in the iPad, whatever. However, from here, what I'm able to do is, like the previous portion when we were talking about standing up, is I'm able to own my phone better than my phone owning me. So from here, I'm really able to create that stable spine position, get some of that tension in the shoulders, pull myself back, and then from here, I can play with what I want to do with my neck. As I raise from the shoulders and chest, so does my neck, because I'm staying in this congruent line that just really allows me to not only feel better, but conquer a better position, but have less stress in my body. And that sounds a bit strange, but get on the floor and try it, because you're gonna notice that you do shift and turn and move and this and that. But as you're in this position, the stress that comes kind of under the shoulder blades, in the spine, in the neck, sometimes in the eyes, becomes less. What I notice is it actually doesn't come until longer, and then when it does come, I switch around a little bit, and a lot of times it completely goes away. Now, if it doesn't completely go away, of course, because you're working, you're doing things, your body's tired, but if we can learn to optimize these positions and get a different approach to what we're doing, then we're gonna learn more about our body, and we're gonna find out what works for us. So I want you, the next time or sometime you're sitting in a chair, you're sitting on a couch, you're sitting somewhere, maybe not in your car, get on the floor, move around, sit there. Your kids will love it, your cat will love it, your dog will love it, if you got a monkey, it will love it, whatever, your body will love it. So give it a shot, comment below, let me know how it goes, and let me know if you continue doing it or if it was like a one-time thing and you never did it again. I think you're gonna continue. All right, so I know a broken position like this is comfortable, but it's not going to be comfortable for long. We're going to get spine strain, back strain, body aches and pains, and we're not going to know why. So what we want to do, what we need to do, is sit in a better position. We know when we sit, the butt turns off. And when the butt turns off, it can't do its job and stabilize the spine. So the smaller muscles have to do it. And that's where a lot of the fatigue and the pain comes from. So what I like to do when I am sitting, if it's not on the floor, I like to make sure that I'm trying to emulate, if you will, the squat position. So you can see here, my feet are straight, my knees are a little bit out because that's how we would be squatting down because of the external rotation of our hips in flexion. That's one of the joint laws I talk about. Our knees are gonna actually be a little bit out versus straight forward. And you're gonna notice if I do put my knees straight forward, you can see my feet almost wanna collapse. So from this position, with this fake torque, if you will, because my butt is not contracted right now. From here, I'm able to at least get some stability in my spine. And then, since I have my phone in my hand, I like to try to use my phone so I can own it versus it owns me. And what I mean is I don't want to sit in this broken position and do all this jazz on my phone. I want to use my phone to get some tension, get some Spannung, we say in German, which is tension, in my spine, really kind of pull those shoulder blades back and see if I can find a neutral, safe, strong, comfortable position where instead of me hanging on my meat and hanging on my bones, I can feel the tension where I am creating my own stability. And from this, you notice this also pulls my neck more in a neutral position. Now, it's okay if you're tilted down because you're looking at your phone, but being tilted down and being broken is two different things. Because from here, I can really start to kind of change the way in which I'm moving from a global spectrum versus just me shifting in different places like this. You will notice that when you do that, the fatigue in the spine and all of that jazz comes much later. It will come because we really shouldn't be sitting that long anyways. So this is like the best of the worst, but we can delay the inevitable, and also we can minimize it by putting ourselves in a better position.